Hi, everybody. I am Kyle Ellicott, and today we are going to be speaking about what is happening in the world of data security and data autonomy with some of the outstanding companies that are building in and around the Stacks ecosystem. For those who may not be familiar with Stacks, we'll post a link in the comments below to talk a little bit more about the Stacks blockchain and greater ecosystem as well for each and every one of you. But all of the companies today have also been participants and now alumni of the Stacks Accelerator program, which we'll talk a little bit more about as well. But again, today we are going to be covering what's happening in the world of data security and data autonomy. And we're sitting here in the Stacks Accelerator boardroom, which is one of the most fascinating and high-rise buildings in the world, or the metaverse, if you will. And again, I'm joined by some outstanding founders. Let's go through introductions for each and every one of them. Wei, welcome to today's panel discussion. A little intro and background on yourself and XChain.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you for having me. My name is Wei Ascala, and I am the founder and CEO of XChain. So XChain is a healthcare technology company, and the mission of our company is to preserve the hopes of life and help advance humanity. So we operate at the intersection of reproductive medicine, technology, blockchain, scientific research, and humanity. And we are the first patented chain of custody solution and inventory management and end-to-end solution for all the labs in the world. So labs meaning fertility labs, high complexity labs, toxicology labs, prenatal screening labs, different kinds of labs that can benefit from a good chain of custody tracking system. Yeah, so it's a little bit about us.
Wonderful, and thank you for mentioning chain of custody. We are going to speak a little bit about that around data autonomy today as well. So very excited to jump into that. Mohammed, next up, welcome as well. A little intro, a little background for everybody.
Yes, thank you. I'm very excited to be here in this great panel with this great setup. Thank you so much, Cal, for this. I'm Mohammed Abda. I'm the founder and CEO of Pravica, and Pravica is a decentralized digital communication suite that allowing users to take control of their data privacy and communicate in a private and secure way, especially for enterprises where the time when the exchanging critical information in terms of emails, chat, conferencing, and many other services related to that digital communication. I came from tech background with almost more than 22 years of experience in software engineering, information security, and cryptography, and 5 years of experience in blockchain.
Wonderful, thank you very much. And next up, Wilson, welcome. A little intro, a little background.
Hey, Gail, thank you for inviting me. Really glad to be here. Hello, everyone. I'm Wilson, founder of BlockSurvey. BlockSurvey is an end-to-end encrypted forms and survey tool. Today, we help people run sensitive surveys in the spaces of mental health, wellness, activism, protests, and so on. Wherever there is sensitive data collection is critical, and BlockSurvey helps them. And we are built on Stacks blockchain, and you use when you sign up with BlockSurvey, you are using the Stacks blockchain to collect and share data. I have about 10 years of experience in the enterprise tech space, and it all started when I was doing market research using existing survey tools. And then I came to know there were breaches and leaks in the space, and that led me to create BlockSurvey. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you very much, Wilson. Last but not least, Artis, welcome. A little intro background, please.
Hello, everyone. Super happy to be here. Thanks, Kyle, for inviting, and happy to be here amongst the other co-founders of the Stacks Accelerator. I am CTO and co-founder of Cygle, which is a Web 3.0 writing platform, and our plan is to empower the writers and give them ownership of their content, and also allow them to monetize community in a direct way where readers can directly support writers. And also another aspect that we bring to the game is that if you write on Cygle once, then you can read it forever, and therefore you kind of you take control of your content.
Wonderful.
And, yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. All right. Well, now that we've kicked things off, definitely want to jump right into today's topic, and that is focused around data security and, again, data autonomy. Each of you are attacking different industries that, when it comes to security of data, it's incredibly important, but even more important is where that data is going and how is that data being used. Wei, I want to kick it off with you. I don't think any other industry could be more precious around data than what you are doing with and at XChange. Walk us through kind of why this is so important in the genetics and biospecimens space to make sure that data is monitored and secured in such a way more than it has been in the past to avoid some of these data leakages, but also understand how we have that ownership for us as users.
Yes, absolutely, Kyle. Thank you for the opportunity to answer this question. So in the healthcare industry, in addition to the security and autonomy that we normally require of any companies, we also have Hipaa. And so Hipaa compliance is very important. So patient identifiable information needs to be safeguarded, like it's like our lives, right? You know, so so it is paramount that the information or patient identifiable information of the patients are protected. And and because your biospecimen in theory can be frozen for decades, for maybe in theory in the hundreds of years, and it can transcend lifetimes. So your biospecimen could in theory outlive you, right? Outlive me. So that is why we're not just focusing on the short term, we're also focused on the long term. So that's why it's very, very important for us.
That's a great point. When you think about things like data autonomy and how that data is living and how that data will live beyond today, what is that process that you take as XChange to monitor that value chain of data, or that chain of custody, as you mentioned earlier?
Yes, absolutely. So with our patented technology, we leverage the security of the Bitcoin blockchain while avoiding higher access fees of the blockchain. So that's why we use the Stacks blockchain. And Bitcoin blockchain is one of the most battle-tested blockchain in the world, if not, some might argue, the most battle-tested blockchain. So we think that with our everyday enterprise level security applied into our system already, with the addition of the blockchain, we will just be the most secure in the entire industry. So we're very, very excited about that.
Absolutely. And then Wilson, coming to you next, I mean, working on surveys, you talked about some very interesting topics. You talked about mental health, you talked about government, you talked about protesting, you talked also a little bit about enterprise, which I'll come to Mohammed next on. You know, talk to us about Block Survey and why you chose to bring that data into a decentralized fashion, and how that has changed your perception along with your users on data security and data autonomy.
Absolutely. So if you see the data collection platform, so be it even filling up a simple form on a website, these are very centralized in nature, and to the point you are giving very much a lot of personal information through forms and surveys today. And what we have observed is, due to the centralization of nature, lot many platforms acted as honeypots as well. And this is what the data collection industry is today. And lot many audience panels who do market research surveys on larger scale have collected personal information, and they have been sold to lot many data brokers, and then eventually those data have been monetized and retargeted with ads and services. And this has happened in this space, and this continued to happen. And what we felt is this data which is being shared is actually not shared at all. The word sharing is actually not sharing here. It's just about just giving data, and it's just a one-way street. And that's where Block Survey wants to change, is where using decentralized tech today, where users can actually hold ownership. All the trails of filling your forms and surveys can be with you. and you choose to decide to whom you wanted to share, and you will have permissions to take back your data as well. I think that's the privilege we wanted to enable for end users, where all your digital traces can be actually owned by you. By that, you are the true owners of your data. Only your keys can unlock your data, and there isn't a single point of failure on a centralized server where you're interacting peer-to-peer, and that's how we see in this space where data security can be enabled, and people can be actually truly own the data they produce in the digital world.
Thank you very much, Wilson. Mohammed, coming down to you next. I mean, looking at that transition into the enterprise, you focus on communications, a very, very important piece of data security. When we think about the communications that we have within businesses and enterprises, how are you thinking about this? And again, bringing into the distributed or the decentralized industry, how does cryptographic technologies and blockchain apply to the future of communication and that data security?
Yes, thank you for this great question. I need to differentiate at the beginning between data security and data privacy. Data security is something that every single tech product is playing a great role to secure the data for their customers, because this is the real assets for these companies, because they are monetizing from these data, from your data, from my data. So this is why they are paying a lot of money to secure these data. But it doesn't mean that this platform is secure. It doesn't mean it is private, because they are in a full control of what you are sending, what you are receiving, and the data privacy at this level is going to down. So in Pravica, we are focusing 100% on data privacy, because this is one of the fundamental rights. When you communicate with someone, you need to make sure that the whole communication activities is crucial to be private and secure. So by utilizing Stacks blockchain and by using the decentralized identity system, that's enabling us to use one handler for your activities, which is your decentralized ID. And your ID is carrying underneath your encryption keys, your key pairs, that's allowing you to encrypt and decrypt every single message you are sending, whether it is an email, it is a message on chat platform, whatever. So your identity is the key word that we are depending on the decentralized identity to allow you to control your data and move the data ownership from the tech product to the client himself.
So speaking of identity as well, Artis, I want to come to you next and more around the media and content world as well. Mohammed mentioned decentralized identity or ID, so DID as well. You at Seigel and the team are working using digital identity in some way and capacity, which I'll let you share more, but also how is data autonomy playing a role at Seigel right now?
Yeah, thanks for the great question. As for the idea, I guess right now we are in the middle of transition from this older block stack ID, where you kind of have to register your ID, and then you get assigned some like private keys. But now we're transitioning to like where all of your content will be linked to your wallet. So basically, it's up to you to decide whether you want to reveal your identity or whether you want to stay private. And yeah, in regards to data autonomy, I think we can always play back on the example where you, Kyle, were shadow banned from Medium for like 3 weeks because you mentioned word blockchain too many times. This won't happen on Seigel because there won't be any central authority which can do that. So basically, public content will be always available, and even if Seigel shuts down, it will still be available on blockchain for anyone to read or anyone to build on. So that's what we are aiming for, to kind of like give content creators power to publish, and then like they won't have to worry about content being taken down because you published an opinion that was not that the centralized company did not like. So yeah, that is kind of my take on this subject. And I think there was also a recent case where Arviv, the blockchain that we'll be using for storage. So some newspaper in Hong Kong published some controversial pieces that were taken down from the like front end, from the web, but they were still available on Arviv, and like everyone was able to retrieve that. And that shows that once you publish something on blockchain, it just stays there forever. And I think that's amazing for creators. It's kind of empowering and making them very independent out of centralized entities.
Absolutely. And there is a little bit of a transition, right? And how that will be managed and how that will be thought of. And we think about data autonomy and data ownership. Wilson, I want to come to you on this. I mean, are users ready, for ownership of their data? And Wei, I want to get your opinion as well on this. I mean, that's a big responsibility to own and then be able to understand where your data may or may not go. And Mohammed, I also want to hear from you on the enterprise side and if enterprises are ready to take that level of ownership. But Wilson, talk to us first. Data ownership, are users ready for that?
Absolutely, yeah. I think people are becoming very privacy aware, and which every event that is taking place right now in this space could be breaches, leaks, or censorship, confidence issues. People are looking for alternatives, and it's accelerating. I think I remember reading Gartner research. It used to be only 10% of people used to care about privacy in 2020, but it's going to be 65% in a year and few months. People are ready for it, and people are comfortable learning to manage their keys, and they are becoming very private, and they are conducting themselves better right now. And what I see is, I see the audience are ready. People who are in the areas where they wanted to protect data, and they are starting to do it. And enterprises, for them, this is very critical, and they realize it as much as a lot of cloud solutions out there. And how we see is Web3 is definitely an augmentation to it, with privacy and security, and ownership is given. And enterprises are super pumped about exploring this new techs, and I see really glad to work with them, to learn from them and how they are adopting things in this space.
Yeah, you're saying enterprises are ready. Mohammed, I'm coming to you on this, and then Wei, I'm going to come back to you. Are enterprises ready? I mean, you focus on this at Pravika, and you've been working with many enterprises around this transition, of data ownership. What are you hearing from the enterprises?
Yeah, enterprises are extremely ready for this phenomenon, for this new shift in data ownership, because they faced a lot of problem in the last years. Like in 2021, almost every industry faced the data breaches, which is costing on average of $4 million for enterprises, downtime, reduced the repetition, and a lot of problems due to the data breaches. And this is all coming because of the client-server model architecture of Web 2.0. What we are trying to reinvent is transferring everything to the Web 3.0, where every single enterprise will own the identity, and every single employee inside the enterprise or inside the company will own the identity, and then the data will be encrypted by this identity. It's a great responsibility for the enterprises, but they have to choose between data breaches and between taking the responsibility of securing their data and using the proper platforms that allowing them to do this in a very big scale level. You are talking about different communication activities in case of Pravika, and they need to do the shift between the normal tools that the main reason for all these problems, and then going to the new era of communication.
That's a great point. In terms of the new era, Wei, I mean, you and XChain are focusing on the intimate of intimate pieces of each of us from a biospecimen standpoint, bringing that forward and looking at how important all of this is. Are people ready to have that level of ownership and that level of autonomy?
I would say people are beginning to be ready. I think what we have seen from both the consumer and doctors and clinics and scientists perspective is they're delighted by this idea, they're intrigued, and they're curious, and they feel empowered, right? So if you think about what would make something a reality, curiosity is number one, right? So curiosity is what have made humanity progress. So we see people are curious about it, then they're intrigued about it, then they're delighted by it. So I think, we'll see a cosmic shift or a macro trend that people are very excited about this idea. They will become ready. And I think we have early adopters or thought leaders. They have been ready for a few years now. And so I think we'll just, see a kind of like the curve shifting from the early adopters, to the max, to the average, so I think the trend is coming. And I'm very glad that Stacks and the entire blockchain community are at the forefront of this shift. So we're really excited to be part of it. And I'm very excited to be part of this panel, all of our great founders. And so thank you, Kyle, for this great opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you, each and every one of you. Let's come to closing thoughts cycle. And Artis, I want to come to you first. Closing thoughts on the future of data security and data autonomy from the perspective of media and influencers as well. And then where can everyone find you and the company online?
I think that it's like as others pointed out, the transition is obvious, and we are definitely moving to the in HIP terms Web 3.0, and so as we can see, a lot of people want to just are struck by this idea. All right, I want to own my data. I want my data to be, my content to be stored on blockchain instead of like some centralized services. I want to get rid of these algorithms that can manipulate the which articles show first and things like that. And I think people are hyped about it, but there are also definitely some hurdles. Main being, I would say, the onboarding part, because for someone who is just writing, let's say, cooking recipes on Medium, it's going to be a tall task to onboard them to, let's say, Stacks wallet, or even much more known MetaMask wallet. And that I see where the bigger challenges are. But I think with the great UI and UX experiences and educating the community, I think that's probably our biggest task, because yeah. That's a massive challenge, but we are going definitely into the right direction. And yeah, where you can find me, it's Cycle app on Twitter, and then we can chat from there. Yeah, thanks,
Wonderful.
Kyle, for inviting.
Thank you very much, Wilson. Quick closing thoughts, and where can you be found along with Block Survey Online? Oh, Wilson, we have a technical difficulty there. It looks like you might have been accidentally muted.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Kyle. Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at Block Survey, or you can reach out to us on writing to contact@blocksurvey.org. That's our email.
Wonderful. Thank you. Wei, any closing thoughts? Where can you be found online as well as XChain?
Yes, absolutely. So I think the closing thought is that the way that I think about blockchain is that in addition to our regular security for the enterprise and for the individual, blockchain provides an added layer. So I think that's the reason that everybody should be excited about, and that could be the reason that everybody are excited about. So we're very easy to find. So just xchain.com, and we're also on Twitter as well as on LinkedIn as a company. So I personally on LinkedIn. So just 1-888-X-Firm. So you can call us too. Yeah, 1-888-X-Firm. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Wei. Last but not least, Mohammed, closing thought. Where can everyone find you and the company online?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I believe that before blockchain innovation, there was no choice. Just use the Web 2.0 platforms, whatever the use case. But now the choice is yours to start using the decentralized product and start discovering what you can achieve in terms of data privacy and data ownership. So the choice now is for you and for everyone to start jump in before everyone coming. So to reach out for us, you can find us on Twitter at Pravica Suite, and for me personally at MHAabdu76 at Twitter. And you can send me an email anytime, abdu@pravica.io.
Wonderful. Everyone, thank you so very much. To all those listening, we will drop in the show notes links to all the companies, but if you haven't already, please do reach out to Block Survey, to Seigel, to XChain, and to Pravica as well. Connect with each of them, test it out, see what happens, give the founder some feedback as well. If you'd like to learn more about Stacks, check it out online. Again, link down below, and also the Stacks Accelerator program down below, link as well. Everyone, do again reach out, make sure you had context where you heard, where you met, and what you'd like to continue the conversation about with each of the founders here today. That's a wrap for the future of data security and data autonomy. We'll be back here with more soon. Until then, everyone have a great day. We'll talk soon.
All right, bye.